Okay.
There you go.
Okay, this meeting is convened at 6:34 p.m. on 11 March 2026. I am Kimo Griggs, Chair of the Norwich Selectboard. I'm joined by Brendan Klassen, Vice Chair, Mary Layton, Matt Sweat, and Rob Gear. I've invited the Town Manager, Brendan Dufford, to join us at our table, but he needs more space, so he's over there. Notes will be taken by Jenny Tolman, and Race from Junction Arts and Media is enabling our digital communications and recording. I'm going to start by just saying the Select Board has general supervision of the town of Norwich. The main tools we use to effectuate these powers are policies, ordinances, regulations, and bylaws. We work closely with our town manager and those under him to carry the work forward. We appreciate the valuable contributions of our other elected officials. We endeavor to be respectful of all citizens and employees, and what is best for Norwich is our North Star. If the chair recognizes you during our meeting, please try to keep your presentation to a 3-minute maximum. We'll move to the agenda. Do we have discussion? Mary?
Yes, I noticed that we have item 5 has to do with the Public Records Act, and I believe it's a rather specific agenda item. But we've had to deal with the Public Records Act quite a bit lately, and I think it would be wise if we considered for a future agenda the adoption of a policy to deal with Public Records Act requests. I'm just saying that now because it's a general agenda sort of topic. So, for consideration.
Noted. So put it on the agenda for another
time. But I think it would help the process. It would also make it clear. You know, anytime as you just said, it's always good to try to have policy to deal with situations, and I don't believe we have a policy for how we engage with Public Record Act requests. And I did. Chris Clement, actually, a citizen, actually on the listserv said, well, look, DLCT has a template. I actually read it. I think it's a good place to start. You know, it already has a lot of the sort of main considerations and, you know, forks in the road where you might want to adjust things. So I think we could use that as a basis for an agenda item and perhaps some other materials too.
And the state has statute governing.
Yes, it does. Yeah, well, it does. But I think that the template for policy is in, you know, lay language, so you can figure out what procedures you want to have, who are the custodians of the documents, specifically how it works. It has a template if someone wants to put in a request. So just as we do for the DPW, when you want to put in a, a request for funding. So it's quite good just as a starting point, I would say.
Okay. I'm noting future agenda item policy for Public Records Act. Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that. Any modifications to the agenda, Matt?
I was just functionally, it looks like item number 7 has to, the fire chief will be there for that. And then item number 13, he will also be available for that. I was going to suggest to streamline his time that we cluster 13 up with 7. Just do them back to back.
Late idea.
If that's okay.
13 and 7. Any objections to moving that?
Sounds fine.
Okay. And I think we may have agreed in advance to move number 6 ahead of number 5. Is
that was a request from our council to accommodate that schedule.
That's good. Okay. Any other comments? Would someone like to propose a motion?
I move to approve the agenda as modified.
As modified.
I'll be happy to second that.
Okay. Any further discussion? Public comments?
Noticed in correspondence, oh, you want to come out? Sure.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry, Cheryl Lynn Burke, 8 Carpenter Street. I noticed in the packet there was an email from Pam Smith, who's here, regarding wanting and to be considered for lister appointment. So I didn't know if that was something that would come to the group tonight.
That's a good point. The partial application was included in the correspondence. The cover email, which ostensibly serves as a cover letter, signaling intent. The actual application check boxes was missing, as I understand it.
It was sent.
It was sent, but it wasn't included in the correspondence.
That's correct.
And it is not an agenda item?
It is not.
Mr. Chair, may I speak to that?
Yeah, the plan for committee and subcommittee appointments, however, is in the agenda.
Okay.
Yes.
So I think there's some confusion going on here, and maybe we can talk through it now. So at the last meeting, we had a directive from the board to advertise for all of the appointments that were going to come up in March. And that advertisement went out on Monday. So we have received something from Pam Smith. It looks like this came in on Thursday, where she had submitted an application for the one-year appointment. We've had another application submitted prior to the deadline that we had put out there for applications for all of the committee members' appointments, and that was for next Wednesday on the 18th. Does that make sense?
You had another application for?
This one was an application that came in before the last meeting of the organization meeting. And I think we all discussed that, and we all said we should do these appointments in mass so that everybody has a chance to apply for the positions that are being advertised. So I'm confused by the timing of this one, because obviously if the select board has agreed to hold all of the appointments until the meeting on the 25th, and the town has advertised for those positions with a deadline of the 18th so that they can all appear in the packet, the timing of Ms. Smith applying for the lister's position seems like it wouldn't give anyone else who might be interested in applying for that position a chance. And I know that there was a message that came out on Saturday on the listserv from Cheryl, who's the chairperson of the Board of Listers, soliciting people to apply for the position. So to me, it wouldn't make any sense at all. In fact, it would seem unfair to have Pam Smith considered or appointed before anyone else has had a chance to even apply based on the deadline that was put out there to the public.
Okay. So I think we're probably getting ahead of ourselves in terms of discussing something that's not actually on the agenda, but
well, it sounds like Cheryl was suggesting it be put onto the agenda, and I was trying to explain why it wouldn't be on the agenda for this meeting. It would be on the agenda for the 25th, when everybody else that might be interested in applying would have the opportunity.
Have we published a deadline for applications?
18th.
18th.
So we'll have time at that point to have all of the applications for all of the open committee and the listers to be in the packet and reviewed by the select board before the 25th. And then on the 25th, I would assume you would have a process where you would vet the applicants and make appointments.
okay. I'm noting here that number 14, plan for committee and subcommittee appointments, discussion, possible motion, does not have a motion on the motion sheet.
Well, this whole process seems like it's getting pushed quickly forward. Like, to me, that was what we were going to discuss as the next full meeting, is how the board would like to handle the appointments. But we had a prior kind of abbreviated discussion at the last meeting where we were directed to put the advertisements out. So to me, the agenda item for tonight would really just be for the board to decide how they want to take up those applications. 24th.
Okay, I think we have a question. Agenda discussion.
Thank you, Pam Smith. The reason that I sent my application in last Thursday was to have my application in the packet. Obviously, only my cover letter was put in. The reason for the expedited timeline is because we are about to deploy the new version of the software. We've been without it for over 5 weeks. And so the training on that software is about to begin. If I am not a lister, then I would not be in the office to avail myself of the training on the new software. And there are other trainings that are coming up through VLCT and Property Valuation and Review that you need to be a lister to attend those. So that was the reason why I asked for the expedited consideration. I don't think any other applicants that might come forward at this juncture would have 5 years of experience as a lister. So if that's something that you would consider as a qualification for this position, then I would be the only applicant that would have those qualifications. So that was why I requested that this be on the agenda for this evening. Okay, thank you.
I think the March 18th deadline for applications is productive. It's the thing we need to stick with.
To be consistent.
Yeah.
Are we obligated by employment law or equal opportunity in any respect in this regard?
Well, I need to look back at the notes, I guess. My memory is that we voted to advertise the job at the same time that the other jobs were being advertised. I don't remember that we stated that we would fill the job at the same time the other jobs. It was going to be advertised. I've subsequently discovered in my discovery with VLCT is that there is no statute governing this. We can do whatever we want. I was surprised by that, but that seems to be a consistent ruling. So my understanding is we aren't under any no guidelines. We're going to appoint somebody today. We could wait 2 weeks. You can elect someone or you can appoint someone. There's no rules.
So it's our prerogative.
Other than what we do. I don't know if any of you have found differently than that, but it seems odd. But that does seem to be the Vermont
Exception to the Dillon rule. I agree with Rob. I think we should stick to a process. So it's unfortunate that I think Pam would miss a training, but I would like the process to be consistent. So to not modify the agenda for tonight.
I have a quick question because I believe that we have lawyers lined up at 7 and that's in 12 minutes. So I know we're discussing the agenda, but could we discuss this at the agenda item of
number 14?
I have more thoughts, but I know we have public comment for things not on the record and we need the public works thing. So.
Agreeable?
Agreed.
Any other discussion?
Thanks, Matt.
Shall we vote?
All right, let's vote. Mary?
Vote yes.
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 Okay, 5. Yes. Terrific. All right, number 2, Chair's report. During the week since our organizational meeting on March 4th, Brendan Klassen and I, Norwich Town Manager and Assistant Town Manager, discussed the agenda for tonight's meeting, exchanging over emails with them regarding same, coordinating well. Brendan and I intend to take most meetings together to foster better understanding, transparency, and trust. As president of the town manager's office last Thursday, when Pam Smith visited to examine documents, she requested through requests for public records. I was in touch with a number of citizens of the town by email and in-person discussion. I responded to Steve Hepburn's request for a meeting by joining him at the Norwich Inn to listen and think through together how the Finance Committee might develop to serve the town. Matt Sweat was able to join us. Rob Gear and I met to get to know one another better and exchange some thoughts. I attended a March 8th community potluck in Tracy Hall, ably organized by Bree Swenson. And I responded to an email from John Carroll offering to brief the select board on specific subjects they're engaging with during our regular meetings, and I'll respond further once I've solicited responses from other members of the select board. That is the end of the chair's report. Moving on to number 3, public comments for items not on the agenda. Any public comments?
I'll start here.
You can keep them.
Yes. I would like to speak to an item of correspondence that you have in your packet tonight. It's a letter from.
Just say who you are.
I'm Aaron Laperty, New Boston Road. It's a letter from 50-something residents, including one of the select board members, who was at the time only a resident. Reminding the board that in 2019, the town, by some 80% or so, voted for Article 36, advising the select board that they wished to eliminate fossil fuel use in town operations over approximately 20 years. And I think the phrase was slowly and gradually, or something like that. And it's now 7 years in, so we're a third of the way through. And if we're a third of the way reduced in our fossil fuel use, so I don't see any evidence of it. And so I'd love to hear about that if that's the case. But I suspect it's not. And I suspect that, in fact, nobody's really paying any attention whatsoever. And this seems to me like a pretty disrespectful response to a very large majority of vote of the town. And so the memo encourages you to take this particular concern seriously and genuinely get started and try to get caught up. I was deeply disappointed to hear that you replaced the heating system in Tracy Hall with yet another fossil fuel system, which in my brief tenure on select board, we voted not to do for this very reason. And I hope that we cannot make any more mistakes like that, which put you in a tight space between your responsibility to your democratic, representation and your fiscal responsibility, since that system is unlikely, if under this article, to survive anything like its lifetime, or we're unlikely to meet the strongly stated intent of the town. So I hope that you'll take this issue seriously in this term. Thank you.
We will listen to public comments and probably not respond right now, although I think some of us do have a response. So
it would be wise to keep on schedule, I think.
If you've got something to say, that's
Yeah.
great.
I appreciate your, I very much.
Would be welcome.
Any other?
Cheryl Lindbergh, this time Chair of the Board of Listers, just wanted to give the Select Board an update that the AP5 that was approved for us to upgrade to, thankfully, has been underway. We got delayed at the beginning due to an employee change at Catalyst, and that delayed the project a week. They have pulled the data from our server and have worked on the data and have taken it through what they anticipated to be about a 3-week process. Again, quality assurance or quality something. I guess there was some glitches and questions that needed to be answered amongst them. And so it took a few extra days. So hasn't been as streamlined as we had hoped it would be. And today I came in to do the deployment of the new software onto the computers, and without a server connection for the town server, that was not able to be accomplished. So tomorrow's the day. And I just wanted to let you know, we're getting obviously close to our April 1st deadline for the grand list. Of course, we work on that grand list until the June 4th abstract is filed. And so there'll be a lot that we get done between April 1st and June 4th, but April 1st is the day that all the owners within the grand list freeze, and any sales after April 1st will be reflected in the next grand list. So just an overall update on that process. It's exciting for us. There are other towns in Vermont using it. They've put together a work group, sort of a support group of those that are using it. And so I've asked to be included in that. And so we'll network on the progress. So we're excited. It's going to be great, we think, and hope to get through this.
Thank you, Sean.
By all means.
Yeah. The current software can still be used in the same manner it's been used in previous years. Correct?
No.
Okay.
So what we have is being converted into the new AP5 history. So this is a cloud version. So we had to stop using our current version
Okay, so
prior to them taking it out of the town server and now getting it ready for the cloud usage. So we haven't been able to work since early February. So it has been a long stint. We got a lot done before they grabbed it, but as you know, the town continues, and the sales and address changes and assessments and permits and all the things we need to get going on. So that is a frozen database, and we are going to move out of that.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks for the question.
Yes. Please.
I'm Jack Cushman. I live on Meeting House Road. I was one of the leaders of the Article 36 task force. And I came tonight to support Aaron's recommendations to you. It's not clear to me at this point whether there's going to be a further discussion at the end of the meeting or later tonight. If so, I won't be able to participate. I understand that you have a 7 o'clock priority. And so I just want to say that I and the other people who strongly favor climate change, many dozens of us, climate change action in this town, it's already too late, but we can mitigate things. We are ready and eager to help the select board any way we can. And we do support Rob's specific approach here, and we do support Aaron's letter. So I want to make that clear. Thank you. And maybe you can tell us whether we should hang around tonight or not.
I think discussing Article 36 would be a great agenda item for the future, because then we can sort of warn it, get everybody who wants to speak on it to be here. And I don't think we could do it justice fitting it in at the end. So I think it'd be a better agenda item.
This goes back to 2019, right? This is 7 years of history, follow-up, legacy.
23.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the article itself.
I think some of the new folks may need to get up to speed, myself included,
Okay.
more thoroughly.
It's listed on the town website.
Okay.
It's very clear.
Yeah.
And
I would like to see it definitively added to the 25th.
great.
Please. Thank you.
We can
We'll do that. Add it to the next.
That's the plan. Working on it.
And I will be out of town, and that you should carry on, and we can move quickly.
Mhm.
Yes.
Linwood Andrews, 69 Meeting House Road. I'm also here in support of Aaron's letter, and I signed it. And I would like to put forward 2 suggestions. One is that you consider having goals in town employee contracts, mandating or outlining progress on reducing fossil fuels in town. And I think it's very difficult for the DPW and the police department to actually move to all electric vehicles if they don't have level 3 charging stations as part of their infrastructure. So I would suggest respectfully that that be bumped up as a priority, because how can we make this transition without the appropriate infrastructure in place in order to achieve it? So I know you're busy. I'm into my comments.
That's a good point.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comments?
I don't believe you can maybe see on the screen the way it's set up, but Linda Gray has her hand up, and it looks like
Yes.
Brian Reardon has his hand up as well.
Linda Gray, please.
Hi, thank you. Linda Gray, 175 Kerwin Hill Road. And I can be very, very fast because I just want to say ditto to what Aaron, Jack, and Linwood said. And I would encourage you to get this on your agenda and take action. There's been enough planning, enough thinking, and now it's time for action. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian.
Fantastic. Brian Reardon, 59 Union Village Road. 3 things, 1 minute each. 1 and 2 follow-up. You saw in the packet, I believe, I CC'd the select board on a few emails that I sent to the police chief, still looking for access to the speed reader data as well as the infraction data. To date, I have received 0 emails back with 5 emails to him so far. So I was looking for a partner in somewhere in the select board or the town manager to help facilitate this, because I'm obviously not getting anywhere with my current approach. So that's one topic. Second was, I just wanted to make sure, we said 4 weeks ago that we were going to have a follow-up call at some time in March or April to have a kind of more of a larger discussion around what it means to have a pedestrian-friendly community, and just wanted to see if we would follow the progress there. And then the last one was, there was a comment made by the police chief about artificial speed, an artificial or low speed. And I went back in my notes. I'll send them as a follow-up to the board so you can have them for the next one. But we actually did a traffic engineering study when we changed the speed here. So actually, we've gone through this process, and the results of that was the reason we actually chose to lower the speed limit, was because of that traffic engineering survey that we did back in 2018 with the police chief at the time. The select board actually then heard all of the recommendations from the police chief and voted unanimously to lower the speed limit on Union Village. So I just don't want us to experience town amnesia here and think that we need to redo all of this work. We have already gone through this with rigor, with process, with the and the mindset to keep this town safe. And so I just wanted to make sure that was on the record, because I was like, I'm pretty sure we've done this, and I didn't feel comfortable speaking at the time, but I will go ahead and synthesize all those correspondence into one and send them to the select board, so you all have them for the next meeting as well.
Terrific.
Great. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you. All right.
We're 7 o'clock.
Public comment, we bring that to a close, I believe. We have number 4, which I guess we can.
I think we're going to have to postpone 4 till we get out of the.
I don't see any reason not to. So, although it's a change in the agenda, I think that's okay. So, we have in number, so we'll skip that over and put it before number 7 and 13. We have a review pending litigation with legal counsel that we feel probably requires us to go to an executive session to discuss. I don't think I can say much more than that about that particular
Should we just move it?
item. So I think we can move that.
All right. I move to find that premature public knowledge of attorney-client communications would place the select board at a substantial disadvantage, including by potentially waiving attorney-client privilege and disclosing confidential information.
Second.
Discussion. Let's vote. Mary.
I vote yes.
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 Yes. And I'm a yes. Yes.
And there's another one. I think.
Yeah, and we need another motion.
Under 1 VSA section 313A1F.
Excuse me.
Oops, sorry.
So we actually decided we're going to do item 6 first. So that is.
Oh, boy. All right. So, but we've had the motion that would work for 6. Is it the same? Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Part is the same.
Okay. So the language is the same. All right. So for item 6, the next one would be under 1 VSA section 313A1E and F. I move to enter executive session for attorney-client communications regarding litigation and to invite legal counsel and the town manager.
Second.
Okay. Discussion. Vote. All right.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes, we have 5 yeses. I'd just like to note that this one, number 6, is concerning a lawsuit. The other one is not. So we will vote on that.
So
We will enter executive session at 7:05 p.m.
So for folks that are online, I'm going to move everyone into a waiting room. And when we come out of this executive session, we'll let everyone back in for the opening of the public session. And then there's going to be a second executive session, I believe. So it's a little confusing because we don't have to come in and out. So everyone will be in the waiting room until the public session is re-entered.
All right. Right. So, I guess I can say that we received guidance regarding the potential lawsuit. Work is ongoing. No decision was made. Would anyone like to move
The next one?
the, I guess we don't need a motion on number 6. So let's go to number 5.
I move to find that premature public knowledge of attorney-client communications would place the select board at a substantial disadvantage, including by potentially waiving attorney-client privilege and disclosing confidential information.
Second this.
Second.
Discussion.
I'd like to perhaps make a comment, perhaps as a newly minted select board member, perhaps with my layman's hat on. I am concerned about the direct or inferred potential conflict between the phrase public records and executive session. Seems to be a contradiction in terms.
It does. So,
now this is not actual, it's also perceived
my understanding
as regarded
is
by the public.
we would like to provide public records. It's complicated because of the conditions of the person asking, who cannot come in according to what we consider to be sort of more normal. Yeah. So in hoping to satisfy the requirement, we're being asked to possibly do things that we'd like to get a little legal counsel on, because the provision of digital records is very different than the provision of physical records in terms of being able to examine them without copying them, for example. So there's some issues that we think we'd like to get a little legal advice before we figure out how to respond to the request.
By what vehicles of transmission does the Public Records Act permit?
I don't think we should be discussing this here somehow. I don't know. I just think maybe
Is it eyes only? Is it printed? Is it screen capture? What's enabled and what's prohibited?
This is what we'd like to.
That's what we need to.
We don't feel qualified to answer the question. We'd like to answer the question, but we don't feel qualified without having a little bit of legal counsel.
Timeframe on resolution?
For what?
This answer.
I don't know, but I just feel that I think it's a case where we have a person who needs a special accommodation.
Mm-hmm.
There are clear rules for if you don't need a special accommodation that you can just look up.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how to protect the rights of someone who needs a special accommodation.
Mm-hmm.
How to do that, legally and sensitively, and also how to know what the town's obligation is. But I think we need legal counsel to parse that for us. I don't think we should be debating it here.
Agreed.
That's why we have this executive session. Because it's kind of a.
Is this a somewhat new issue or has it been in the works for some time?
I would say it's just there's not clarity on how to provide the access. And I think we need our legal counsel to help provide that clarity for us. It's not clear cut, or we wouldn't have to ask them. That's what I think.
Will this be our first engagement of legal counsel on this question?
I think so.
As far as I know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just coming at this brand new. So
yeah,
I'm pretty much aware of the circumstances. And obviously we don't want to be discussing in an open forum here.
Right.
But, just we're hearing public insistence on timely resolution of any and all matters, whether it's Act 36 from 7 years previous or whether it's a public records accessibility question, which may go back 6 months. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I think it's incumbent on us to show progress.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. Time is of the essence on this.
Yeah.
So I think we're trying to pass We have a member of the public.
Yes, Cheryl Lindbergh. You want me to come forward again?
Yes, please.
I would like to ask the select board, where is your public records request policy, for which you're talking about an accommodation which should be embedded in the policy?
Mary.
I had mentioned at the top of the meeting that I don't believe we have a policy, and I had looked at a template from VLCT, and I just had requested an agenda item to come up soon so that we could put that in place. So that's my stance on it. We have not had a policy. I think it'd be very good to put one in place, but we can't, talk about a policy that we don't have in place.
Yeah.
We don't have it yet.
No.
So that's where I stand on that one.
And there's challenges of trying to retroactively implement a policy when a case is pending.
Well, we don't even have a basic policy that, let's say, a member of the public that does not require a special accommodation would like to put through a, Public Records Act request. We need the basic policy. And then, for people who need something special, we probably need a policy on that too, but that might have to be developed further because I don't know if it exists in statute. There are other laws that come into play. For instance, the Americans for Disabilities Act,
Sure.
Things like that. So that might be a more complicated issue that's not in a template from VLCT. But to have a process where the public knows how to make the request, that there would be a form that they fill out, so all the information's there for everybody to see. I think that would be very worthwhile, and that's why I brought it up at the top of the meeting. But we don't have that now.
But more time, though, if ADA supersedes any small town policy that we choose to implement, we have to consider that potentiality.
That's a legal question, though. That's not us to decide. But we do want to protect everyone's rights to do this, and we want to protect the interests of the town. I'm not, debating all the details of it. I'm just saying that as a town, we don't have that policy. I think it would be good to put one in place because then everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
And this discussion might help us form the policy better.
Yeah.
Right.
Test.
And also any sort of advice and perspective from counsel as well should inform if we do have a policy. What do they recommend? What are other cases where people have required special accommodation? There may already be case law in this that they know about. So I think that's why we're going into this. So that's my perspective on it.
Any further? Let's vote. Mary.
I vote yes.
Brendan.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Okay. That is number 5.
We need the next part, I think.
We need the next part.
Okay. Under 1 VSA, Section 313A1F, I move to enter executive session for attorney-client communications and to invite legal counsel and the town manager.
Second.
Okay. Discussion. Vote. Mary.
Yes.
Brennan.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. 5 times yes. Yes. Terrific.
48, not 58, 758.
Oh, yeah.
7:58.
The recording has stopped.
Okay. Back up there.
Everyone is now being put back into the waiting room and will be let back into public session when we
Hold on a second, I got some volume. Jeez. Okay.
This meeting is being recorded.
Five yes. We received legal advice from our counsel regarding how to reply to a specific public records request.
And that was 9:03 where we came back in.
Public session at 9:03. Thank you, Mary. All right. Let us move back to item number 4. DPW director requests. I hope everybody had a chance to read them. They look pretty straightforward.
Usually they are always very well prepared. So, all right.
Entertain. Is there any discussion about these?
No,
I'm good.
No.
Between sand, gravel, or
Nope.
We do have Chris Kaufman still on as well.
If there's
you'd like to
questions.
make a quick introduction of any of this.
Chris, is there anything you'd like to add?
Can we tile the windows so we can see everyone?
Yeah, what happened to that?
Oh, you want to go back to gallery, I think, or no?
Good. I got nothing to, unless you have something you need me to answer.
I think we should keep going.
Yeah. I mean, it all looks very clear and straightforward and nicely done, and your fonts are perfect. Thank you for such a clear presentation.
No problem. No problem. Yeah, it just this basically just allows us to get our grants and do the business we have to do every year, and state requirements, and pretty straightforward. We do have a new town bridge standards. Those are the ones I included in there. There's really nothing that's changed other than the fact that the cross culverts, the state is now recommending that they be a minimum of 18 inches.
18 inches.
Yeah, and that sort of matches up with FEMA. But I've been doing that anyway, as everything I've been doing. So we're sort of we've been proceeding in that direction the last 3-4 years. So.
Chris, it's Brendan Klassen here. Just a minor question. The diameter is now 18 inches. What was it previously?
Well, there wasn't any specific minimum. It was just that based on standards and updated standards and hydraulic experience with engineers and the storm events we were having over many years, the state, has agreed that, we're not going to put anything under 18 inches in. That's the minimum. So, in some cases, we have to do a hydraulic analysis, which gives us sort of an idea of how much flow would go through the pipe. In other cases, they're fairly straightforward, and we've put in a number of 12-inch and 15 inches into the town, which is unfortunate. So those kind of have to be kind of pulled out as we go along and do our paving projects. So that's sort of my goal, is to get ahead of that curve and get all those replaced as we start some paving projects here in the next few years. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions?
No, I'm ready to move.
I can move it.
Go ahead.
I'll move to approve. I move to approve the annual financial plan, town highways, as included in the select board meeting packet.
And I'll second it.
Any discussion? Let's have a vote. Mary?
Yes.
Brennan?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Okay, that's 5 yes. Certification of compliance.
I move to approve the certification of compliance for town road and bridge standards and network inventory as included in the select board meeting packet.
I'll second that.
All right. Comments? Let's vote. Mary?
Yes.
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
5 yes. Town road and bridge standards.
I move to adopt the town road and bridge standards as included in the select board meeting packet.
I'll second.
Discussion.
Can I make one?
Town manager.
So we actually had, I didn't catch this when the motion sheet went out. We actually have a slight update to what you're going to be signing, which is stating 2026 and not 2019. So we probably shouldn't state what's in the meeting packet, but just the updated road and bridge standards as presented by the director. I can make a suggestion.
Did you say that again slowly? Like it says, I move to adopt the town and road bridge standards as updated. Was that what you said, Brennan?
Yeah, as updated by the DPW director.
Dated by the, do we need to amend this?
Did you have a
Would you
second?
like to take back?
Yeah, we had a second. I'll take back my second.
All right, I move to adopt the town road and bridge standards as updated by the DPW director.
Okay, and I'll second that new motion.
And we'll revote. Mary?
Yes.
Brennan?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. That's 5 yes.
That
We are
done.
through number 4. Congratulations. Let's move on to number 6. Right up, no, number 7. Yes.
There are 3 documents. I don't know when you want to circulate those, if you wanted to start that process yet. For the signatures needed after the motion.
Okay, we can do that at the end, correct? Okay, let's do that at the end. Number 7, fire department spending request. Again, looked very straightforward to me. Need new fire shields and helmets for the kids and bodies. Matt, is there anything you'd like to? No?
I think Chief Northern's on.
Chief Northern, is there anything you'd like to add here? It all looked.
Yeah, not really. It's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, I can read the memo to you if that would help, but otherwise, I have nothing to add.
We've read the memo.
Good.
All right.
Do we motion?
Motion?
I move to authorize the expenditure of an amount not to exceed $9,800 from Fire Equipment Fund Number 26 for the purchase of new fire helmets and shields.
Second.
All right. Discussion? No discussion. Let's vote. Mary?
Yes.
Yes.
Brendan?
Yes.
Bob? Matt?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. You have to recuse yourself?
No,
I haven't had to before.
I don't think so. We're good. All right.
Oh, he's
Thank
getting
you.
a special hand.
Nice
I
to
have
see
not been getting one of these, just for the record.
Oh,
Number 8, town manager recommendation to support Trails Committee project. I'm sorry.
We had moved, I think, number, what was it, 14 up?
13
Oh,
hours.
13.
We did. Thank you very much for that. Yes, so let's do that. Fire warden application and appointment discussion. You're being appointed the fire warden for the state?
Not for the state, for Norwich.
For Norwich, sorry. But we don't move this, do
We
we?
have to approve it. I believe.
We approve it and then we sign the documents and they get sent to the state and then the state, appoints him.
Okay.
It's like a recommendation from us, but we have to make this.
So we have to make a.
We do have to.
We have to approve the appointment.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
In our former
Yeah, okay.
person moved, I believe.
I mean, there's no mystery here. Congratulations. Let's
We have to do it first.
go ahead and
I move to approve the appointment of Alex Northern to the position of town
Forest fire.
forest fire warden for a term ending on June 30th, 2028.
I'll second.
Okay.
And you have some
Discussion. Yes.
Yes, I'd like to ask if this was advertised to the public for all people to apply. Cheryl Lindbergh.
Happy to answer that if you want.
Matt?
So it was advertised to the department and the state has a policy that it can only be held by members of the fire department.
Okay.
So, yes.
Good to know.
Properly advertised.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your question. I think we can go ahead and vote. Mary?
Yes.
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 And I'm a yes. Okay. Yes. Thank you for reminding me about the movement of that item. We have Town Manager recommended support Trails Committee Trail Improvement Project.
Right.
So that's number 8. Any questions? I assume everybody had a chance to read that. This is about something to do with a gift policy. Have to accept money. You have to spend money before you can accept the money.
Well,
In this case,
You have to get.
they have to submit a grant application.
yeah.
They have to receive the grant. If they receive the grant, the town pays for the money up front and then it's reimbursed through the grant. So that's the legal or the monetary movement there.
Okay. So, any questions? Discussion?
Sounds very worthwhile.
Yeah.
We're carrying the great steps that are there.
Let's move.
I move to approve the Trails Committee request to solicit a grant for $2,575 from the Norwich Women's Club for the purpose of repairing stone steps on the Ballard Trail.
Second.
Any discussion? Anyone on the screen? Don't see anybody. Right, let's vote. Mary?
Yes.
Yes.
Brendan?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
And I'm a yes.
Okay.
Terrific. Next is a discussion of organizational meeting topics. Continued discussion, possible motion regarding the chair's report and the addendum B of personnel policy. I believe last meeting we were discussing whether we wanted to continue to have the chair's report. I gave one today. Don't want that to be repeated. Good time to.
I like it to be repeated. I just think it should be an intention of the board, that we agree it's helpful. So, and I'm in favor. Well, I'm in favor of it. So.
Yeah, I think it's useful.
I think it's useful.
I think it's great. And I think it's great that we're voting on it.
Yeah, just to make it clear, we all agree it's useful. So.
We didn't put it in the, okay. We didn't put it in the motion.
I didn't make a motion, but I don't know if it's necessary.
I don't think it's necessary. Addendum B, of personnel policy.
Okay. Oh, this was, I think, Brennan's suggestion, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It's a
discuss a little bit. So the addendum B, which has been provided to the new select board members, is put in place when we updated the personnel policy back in October of 24. It was a way for our elected officials to agree to adhere to many of the provisions that are in the personnel policy that are applicable to employees of the town. So there is not a requirement that a elected official sign addendum B and agree to those standards. But I think at last year's meeting, we had at least discussed that if they wish not to sign those, they would be given an opportunity to explain to the voters why they were choosing not to. So it seems like it would make sense every year for folks that haven't signed off on addendum B to be able to, I guess, make a statement as to why they would not wish to do that. And I know Rob has already signed off on his as a new select board member. I don't know if Brendan has had a chance to review the documents yet, but that would be my suggestion, I guess, is if folks are not going to sign that, it might be appropriate just to have folks that don't want to sign it explain why not. So everybody's aware of that.
As chair, I'm happy to explain. I didn't sign mine last year, and there were a couple of reasons. One is that the year before, I believe the VLCT had been recommending the form. It stopped recommending it. I don't entirely remember the reasons for that, but it was no longer a recommendation of the LCT. I was told at the time that the agreement might protect the town from certain types of lawsuits. But the more it was explained to me, the less convincing that argument seemed to be. And based on what I've learned since then, that seems to be even more the case. It's not a clear protection for the town that I'm aware of. Other reasons are that Addendum B, one of the features of it is that the select board may amend any of the provisions of the personnel policy for any reason at any time, with or without notice. I don't want to be in a position of amending a provision of a personnel policy that I have agreed to. It seems like a conflict of interest for me to be able to do that.
In spite of any changes that might come up that would require a change?
Well,
circumstances would change? I don't get that.
Well, it's for me to amend provisions of the personnel policy that I've agreed to be guided by seems like a potential conflict of interest. And finally, in the personnel policy on page 2, it says the personnel policy will be administered by the town manager, who is under my guidance. So that also seems like an odd potential conflict. I mean, I like our town manager, but he's not in charge of me.
Correct.
And so for him to be administering the personnel policy that I've just signed also seems a little odd. And I think my final comment is, having read the personnel policy and having observed behavior in the town, I had not noticed that the people who sign the personnel policy behave substantially differently toward town employees than people who don't sign the town policy. I'm elected. I can be impeached or not reelected. That is the voter's choice. And those are my reasonings. I don't judge anybody who feels they want to sign it. I just feel for my own personal. Yes.
So this has sort of been framed as, well, if you didn't sign it, why not? But I mean, what are the good things about it? If you sign it, you admit you've read it. You admit that you've had a chance to ask questions. You agree that it can be amended because the select board can amend it if they want to. You understand it, and that all the employees get a copy. So to me, those are, it's like an endorsement. It's like, I've read our personnel policy. I think for the period that we have now, it's good. It may need amending if something changes, but it just acknowledges that you've taken a look at it and you agree with it. So that's why I signed it, just to put in a positive note. So, and it also, one thing I thought was important, and this for everybody, the parties agree that this agreement shall not constitute a contract for employment. So it doesn't have to do with employment. It has to do with, have you read it? Do you understand it? Do you have questions? Do you understand it can change? To me, that's what it is. And I think that's a positive thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I signed it, just so there's a positive part to the discussion.
I would
Thank you, Mary.
I would say that's this same thing. That was my way of thinking as well. This is established set of rules that we're all going to play by. We've decided to join the town of Norwich team, and we're going to say we've read these rules and we're going to conduct ourselves accordingly, and we expect everybody else to conduct themselves in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I signed this for maybe looser reasons, but I think that and we don't have to sign it. But
yeah, it's an optional thing. So
yeah, I signed it for essentially the same reasons. The spirit of the Addendum B and of the policy itself are entirely coherent with my views on responsible chain of command in management.
And I can also understand if a new select board member didn't want to sign it because hadn't read it yet. take a little time with it, I can understand that too. So.
Okay. Well, I've certainly read it. It's quite complex. It's quite comprehensive. Honestly, I only found one section that could possibly be pertinent to me as an elected official who on the 4th of March undertook an oath of allegiance to the state of Vermont and a second oath of office to serve faithfully in the office of Select Board member under pain and penalties of perjury, including impeachment and removal of office. So I regard us as being answerable wholly and solely to the voters. We serve at their pleasure. Mm-hmm. This transcends all other considerations, including addendums. And if we look at section 10 and we see the precondition entitled political activity, it says employees are prohibited from pursuing political activities while working. I think that defines what we do as select board members. Mm-hmm. We're political appointees by the voters of the town. So there's already an inherent contradiction in there. Mm. And I think a lot of these provisions are just simply unnecessary and at best unnecessary and at worst a distraction that I elect not to take any further personally.
So it might be a challenge to develop an addendum that we'd all agree to for all the good reasons, mm-hmm. and eliminating any of the odd things. I will say that my tendency just generally is to keep things as simple as I can. And if it's not necessary to sign something, I don't. Yeah. Mm-hmm. In that way, conflicts are reduced. So it's just consistent with how life is endlessly complicated. So do you think it's worth maybe taking a stab at developing a modified version?
No, I don't at all. I mean, I think this is fine. And if people have reservations about signing it, shouldn't sign it. And the position is clear. Okay. And the reasons are clear. We've said them either for or against. I think that's enough. So
a comparative example might be myself as a new American resident having to declare my oath of allegiance to the country, whereas all you good folks, being American born, never have to do so. Hmm. Have you ever sworn an allegiance to the country? Because you've not had to.
No, to Vermont because it's public office, but no.
But not to the country.
Well, it's through any country, right?
So if you don't need to, don't do it.
Yeah, we all have allegiance to the flag of the United States. So in effect, we have.
Yeah, but it's
for every day for 20 years, 10 years.
Do we require a motion?
My oath was
either of these.
No, I think we can move on.
No, let's move on.
We can move on.
Let's keep moving on. Planning for select board and town manager goals. You will get an email from me asking you to respond to all of us about your personal interests and goals. I didn't send that. If you have them today, I'd love to hear them. But I thought it might help to be able to read everyone's before we discuss them. Is that
goals for
our select board goals?
Yep.
Or select board? Are we talking select board or town manager?
Well, this was both select board and town manager goals. So select board, in my mind, they're different. Yes. Select board goals and town manager goals are different. I think my experience last year was that we sort of set goals that maybe combined the two, but I don't remember very well. For our select board goals, yes.
I just remember you saying, well, we never set any goals for the town manager, but we did, and they're in writing. And they have to be in writing.
When we looked at his contract in October, we didn't set them then.
Oh, you're saying the timing, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then and I think that's a conflict with elections, starting a new select board year. I think we need to have, maybe we need two, like now, but also in the fall. You know what I mean? I don't think we have to limit it to annual. And also and we might like updates, right?
Could we talk about town manager or
what's the date of the appraisal?
What's the what?
The date of the appraisal.
Evaluation.
Oh, you mean the evaluation? Oh, it's like September.
Okay, so we're talking about town manager goals now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 2 weeks before the town manager's anniversary, I think it is. That's the minimum where we have to evaluate.
2 weeks before the anniversary of the appointment.
Of employment, yeah. But this employment happened, it would sort of fit our planning better if it was in the spring. So I think, we shouldn't neglect to have goals for our town manager now. I think there should.
Oh, agreed. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the evaluation would happen in late September. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So right now, the way you said contract, and the contract's pretty clear that we shall annually, within 14 days, the anniversary of effective date,
right,
review and evaluate the employee's accomplishments, the goals and objectives referenced above. Goals, objectives, and performance. Annually, the board and employee shall define such goals and performance objectives which they determine necessary for proper operation of the town, attainment of the board's policy objectives, further establish a relevant priority, and so on. I guess my sense is that we have not established goals that we will be looking at in September or October or whenever that is. So do you feel that you have we set goals?
I think what's happened, yeah. So I think over the last 2 years, we have not had like the time and bandwidth to set the annual goals like closer to the anniversary date of the hire line evaluated. For both last year and the year before, I think it was in May when we were actually able to kind of synthesize these are the goals that are going to carry through until the next evaluation. So I think we should do that. I think it would be helpful to me to have, quantifiable goals that I get evaluated on when we get to September. Yeah. I think what we should do for the next cycle, is to try to get those goals done in October before we get into the budget season in November.
I agree.
But there should be enough time in that month if we're committed to doing it to have an annual goal that actually goes for a year and not for 5 or 6 months.
Yeah, and that's a requirement of us. We need to do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a joint process. I think it's the town manager and the select board working to figure out what is attainable, what are the select board goals. That might be a good first step, because that might help me say, well, what are the roles that I play in helping the board achieve those, or are there entirely different goals that only I control that we should have kind of articulated and noted?
So what I would like to do is to establish, have a discussion in 2 weeks regarding what goals we feel are appropriate for the town manager, and have discussion with him in public at this meeting and define those goals.
Can I?
Yes.
I think if we were to talk about our select board goals first, then if we establish some of those goals might trickle down to select town manager goals. Mm-hmm. So like if we were choosing which one to focus on first, the select board goals should be solidified, then the town manager goals. And they should both be done very quickly. Yeah. Because we're already into his contract, right? This year.
So we have to be careful though, because who's going to assess our performance?
Whose performance?
How do I assess your goals, Kimo? We don't want to set goals if they're not accessible.
Those who elect us assess our goals. We will establish our goals as a board.
Yeah.
And we will try to achieve those goals. And the public can judge whether we've met those goals or not. independently. We don't have to have a formal review of the select board's achievement of their goals.
It'll be somewhat of an informal process, I imagine.
Well, it's ongoing.
Yeah.
And our goals may change as time goes on.
So were you suggesting that we email you with our suggested goals, compile them?
That's what I was suggesting. Yeah, that we, I'll send you an email, you'll respond, send an email to all of us. We won't, it won't be reply all, but I'll ask you, could you send us all your goals? And I'll give you a format and you can send us all your goals. I slow down on how we're doing this. So if I have goals, I send them to you, everyone sends to you, and then you send out everybody's. Is that what you're talking about? Could do that. I thought you could send your goals to everyone at the same time so that everybody can see what your priorities are.
Why don't we just put a memo in the next packet, then everyone can read it, and then we can discuss it.
We could do that?
Yeah, I like the memo idea.
That might be more.
Like we each do.
Okay.
Right. Start sending select board messages back.
But memos work well, I think.
So you'd prefer each of us to send a memo to these
for correspondence to the packet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because then we can read it, then we can all read it beforehand and then have an intelligent discussion.
I would try to set you a format. So of those goals, there are some goals that you may be interested in for the board as a whole. And there are other goals that will be personal. And I'm particularly interested in the personal goals because as we go later in the agenda, the select board tasks, the working groups would probably grow out of your particular interests. You'll see in a moment. So anyway, that's what I would like to do. Have a good discussion, set our goals next meeting.
Sounds good.
And I'd also like people to think about what goals we might set for the town manager and for the town manager to tell us what goals you'd really like to accomplish.
Would that be a separate memo or farther down in the process?
I think that's a separate memo.
For the coming meeting or after we've sort of hashed for the select board ones?
Be for the coming meeting and probably not decide on them then, but at least start the discussion.
Okay.
So that we can have.
So both categories then?
Yeah.
For the 25th.
For the 25th.
Decide on select board goals first and see how those might feed into the goals we would hope for our town manager.
But you're asking for both select board goals and town manager goals. Hopefully we sort out the town manager ones so they're not, they're going to be places it overlaps and places it doesn't,
Yes.
Okay.
But that's already the case.
There'll be a lot of non-overlap too, I think.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that makes sense. So memos for both, and then we'll see what everybody has said and then talk about it, right? And prioritize.
Yeah.
You're going to have like a chart with the,
something
the
like
flip
that.
chart or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Elementary school.
Facilitate.
Vision board.
Oh, the vision.
Choose your color, the marker.
The chart and Sharpie.
I don't remember where we put that. Did you have something you would on?
No, my only thought, and I thought Matt's idea might be good. I realize it's March and we want to kind of move this along, but we also have a precedent of, getting these done by May, and that might be more for him. I think it does make sense to separate these out, to have a discussion about the select board stuff in one setting, kind of focused on that, and then maybe on the first meeting in April, whenever that is, April 11th. After that discussion's had, to bring the town manager goals into play. That's just my suggestion to you guys.
Let me think it through, but I think thinking about them at the same time is healthy. We're all working together. So I'd like to know what goals we're establishing for you, at least generally, before we decide on our own goals, so that where there are places, we can all work together, we would elevate those in both cases. Or if there are things where they're clearly separate, we can separate them early on. But establish our goals next meeting and establish.
I think we should be always bear in mind that goals are obviously works both ways, right? So the goals are important for the people who set the goals, but they're equally important for the people who are subjected to them and will be appraised on them.
Mm-hmm.
So if Brennan, if your assessment is in September, am I correct? Your appraisal assessment, whatever you call it.
Looks like October unemployment data.
September 27th.
September
Yeah,
27th. So if we say delay until May, we've only got 4 months for the goals to be realized.
Yeah.
In terms of objective meeting of these quantifiable above meets or below expectations.
Yeah.
And that's unfair on the town manager that it's only 4 months because it's only 1/3 of a year.
Right. I just wanted to say that some of his goals are just in statute, like just running, basic running of
Oh,
the
that's
town.
easy. Yeah, yeah.
That is a goal. Like if he's not doing that, that's a serious problem. But of course he is. But
In the effort of like slightly shorter meetings too, it might be better to separate our discussion on select board goals and the town manager goals into two different meetings.
That's my intention, but I think having the information
in
at the
memos.
same time can be helpful.
So the two memos, the select board one and the goals and, okay. So 2 memos for the 25th.
That's my thought.
I think that it's going to work
If nobody
very
writes it,
nicely. Yeah.
It's a good start.
If you stall and don't write anything, well, we can't talk. I guess. In Vermont, for all state employees, your ability to expect a raise or anything like that is based on 365 days of exemplary work. So if you're setting goals in May for,
that's unfair.
That's not fair to anybody. So I think looking ahead, setting goals in September for the following year would make sense. So we should keep that in mind.
Having worked for the state of Vermont for 6 years, I'm not sure exemplary is it's a category.
That's their language. Yeah.
Aspirational, right?
Yeah. Okay. I think we talked about that. I don't think we need a motion. The next thing, number 11, I would like to request your permission. It can be general right now. I don't think we need a motion, but I have an idea that maybe some of the things that we are interested in personally, I'm interested in Tracy Hall, you might be interested in energy, you might be interested in some of the policies. Brendan, you're interested in everything from what I can, so you need to narrow it down. But when each of us has some personal things that maybe the reason you ran for select board, I don't know. But I thought if we could form working groups where a member or 2 members or all of the select board could have a meeting with citizens, perhaps during working hours if possible, so that we could also include employees, that we could have meetings once or twice a week for a month or a month and a half to move some aspect of our interest forward quickly. Just a big jump. So that come to a conclusion, report back to the select board about the status of that particular item or interest, maybe with some recommendations. These would be public meetings. They would have to be warned and notes taken and so on. But my idea is that next week I will propose a template that would allow people to just do this, to have that meeting easily without requiring a lot of work from our staff and employees, but to move things, some things forward quickly if people have the interest. Public safety and speed would be an obvious one. People are interested in that. They want to meet. They want to see what they can do. For me, looking at some of this building is an obvious one for others. So I just wondered if maybe that is an idea that I could propose and come with a, something to vote on next week. Does that seem reasonable or outrageous? Yes.
I think it does seem reasonable. I just use it very judiciously. For instance, I think Tracy Hall, we've been drifting on that. I think that's critical. And there is a lot of interest in speeding.
No.
But I wouldn't get 5 or 6 of them going. Also, I still work. I'm not doing anything except working during working hours. So I'm out for that. Okay.
Yeah.
Just saying. Also, on the last year, my personal interest, we had worked out with the previous board that they could be done as queries. So I think they're limited enough that, and it's really more about researching, doing some research, for instance, to possibly change the date of the information meeting to the Saturday before.
Yeah.
It's just going and finding out what are the timelines, who's willing to show up, would all the different strands come together so we can do that. But that does not need a working group. And I did come and ask permission for it. I call that a query. So, and also that working groups, they do add administrative time to our staff who do have to put out the, warn the meetings and then, publish the minutes and so forth. It just add time. You're adding admin time for every working group that you put in.
I know.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So I think it's good, but just be judicious about how they are. And you don't have to have them all over the place.
No.
Like look for the most critical. And here's what else, because I was on the child care committee and we had a charge. It's really important to have a charge, decide who's going to be on there and have a timeline. It's really important to know that one would sunset because we were doing research and it needed to be done within a certain time period. So I think those, when you're crafting the method of setting them up, I think those are really important considerations. Yeah.
So I'll meet with probably the assistant town manager to come up with a template that allows all of those things to happen as efficiently as possible. They're all the same. Boom, boom, boom. And maybe the select board members, we could take on some of that responsibility. To make it sure they're prepared. It just can go out.
I think it's a great idea. I think no one group of people has all the answers, certainly not the august members seated around this table. We have an enormous wealth of intelligence and experience of people in this town across every facet.
Energy and expertise and passion and everything. So
whether it's energy, environment, finance, architecture, whatever, it's just, and these people are ready and willing to put their hands up. I think we saw a little bit of it with the speed discussion last meeting. A dozen people jumped in with positive, supportive, constructive comments. And I think the more we can foster and engender that type of response in these working groups, the more successful we'll be.
And engage. Go out and engage.
And they own it.
Okay.
It's not just sermonizing, it's they own the solution.
Okay. So I think I'm hearing a positive response and I will move forward with that. Terrific. Thank you. Select board tasked the finance committee. I met with Stephen Hepburn, who is here meeting. Matt was able to join us and we had a really, I had a beer and it was very nice. And we batted around some ideas and I think I'd like to look for opportunities for the finance committee to contribute to the town more actively. I'm going to ask you to maybe explain what it is that or ask Stephen to step up and maybe make a
can we hear from Matt first?
Sure. It seems like opening dialogue that at this point, our current charge is that the finance committee was not allowed to talk to anyone like in the town government without our sort of explicit charge or tasking. And so it seems like in order to start moving ahead and figure out how to use a finance committee in a way that's going to serve the town long term, because the past history of the finance committee seems to be that they have imploded in for various reasons. To do it in a way that sets us up for long-term success, you can just start to begin some conversations with the stakeholders. And so two tasks that were kind of discussed was just to begin dialogue between the finance committee chair and the finance director and the town manager, just to sit down, talk, and see how a finance committee might be able to support the finance department and the town manager, and then in turn support the town community and the select board. And then another task, the other sort of part of being on a finance committee is that they need to interact with the Norwich School Board and I think the Dresden Finance Committee is more defined, but also to open dialogue between the Finance Committee chair and the Norwich School Board chair, and just talk about how that could best be run. And I think we got mired down when that tried to happen between the select board and the chairs and things. So I think that just open dialogue seems to be the best way to do it. It's not committing to anything, but it's just saying, all right, let's start talking.
Yeah.
So I had two tasks that I could move just to get things moving and see how it might work.
Thanks, man.
Oh, could I speak? I like the idea a lot, and I like the idea of starting now. And also that it would be the Finance Committee chair, so that it's kind of a more low-key entry, but to start trying to coordinate when we're right at the beginning of budget season, I think doesn't work. But I think if we can start the relationship building now, just as you said, I think that would be great. One thing I have been concerned about is just, and I've heard this because both from our finance director and also from my boss, who is the auditor for the town of Stratford, Nellie Pennington, just have someone on the finance committee who is familiar with NEMRIC, and I think they may already have a person, because when you try to take the NEMRIC modules and then analyze in Excel, apparently there's sort of some translation and interpretation issues. So that would just be something I would like, to be clear and worked out as far as how that relationship develops. So NEMRIC is the municipal software that the town uses.
And we use that.
Yeah, and like most businesses, they just use Excel, or it's just a very different format. And I think the NEMRIC seems to take a lot of study, and just perhaps because it's tailored to municipalities, it has some different characteristics from Excel. So it's like you need your bilingual finance people, I think, to make this work. That's all I had to say. Thank you.
Well said. Thank you.
And town treasurer in this?
Yes, Cheryl Lindbergh.
Cheryl Lindbergh.
I didn't hear you mention town treasurer, but not initially at least.
I see.
My initial dialogue included the finance committee chair, the finance director, and the town manager. We can expand that out, but I think that the first three people would be the best, beginning starting.
That would be
small, yeah.
Good starters, and also the treasurer's on the finance committee, so if there's updates.
Right.
But just to start it small, I think the relationship building is as important as anything.
Right.
To get everybody comfortable talking to each other would be huge.
Yeah. And I think as far as we can, just from my knowledge of the history, which is very limited, I don't think it's going to be productive if we delegate busy work to people and have them go off and do unimportant tasks.
True.
Just for the appearance of being seen to be busy and the appearance of being seen to be involved, when really there's no teeth to it. Now, these are advisory roles. Then we're not obligated. It's a discussion group. It's a two-way street. But I think we want to avoid this assignment of busy work, because it's really a bit demeaning to be doing that.
Yeah. Although just the busy work that were assigned to do comparative tasks.
That has some utility, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it is a secondary sort of research thing.
Yeah.
But Norwich isn't, in and of itself, it's a very unique town. Unique demographic, unique wealth base. It has its own idiosyncrasy, shall we say.
Okay. But, just from being involved in, for instance, the union negotiations, and when we have to figure out what we're going to pay our police department, yes, Norwich is unique, but what did we do to try to determine what would be fair pay? Is to look at towns that are a comparable basis as possible. And within the town of Norwich, we have all kinds of crazy real estate disparities, very odd eccentric houses. We've got big mansions. We've got, sort of basic houses. And these listers have to parse that. They have to decide
Indeed.
what those valuations are. And they may actually, base that too on what the value is in other towns. So, we're not an island. We're not an island unto itself. I think it's fair to, know what other towns do and make the best comparisons we can. They're not going to be exact.
Sure.
They're changing all the time.
Well, everything changes. Yeah.
Okay, so did you have some motions?
Sure. Yeah, because the way we've currently structured it, we have to give them tasks.
Okay.
So I would move to task the Finance Committee Chair to discuss with the Finance Director and the Town Manager how the three of them could work together collaboratively over the coming year.
Did you get that?
How did you say it again so Jenny can get it?
What's that?
I can listen to it back.
Okay.
Okay, so discussion on that.
Could you read it one more time, Matt? Just to.
I move to task the Finance Committee Chair to discuss with the Finance Director and the Town Manager how the three of them could work together collaboratively over the coming year.
Mm-hmm.
Will the Finance Committee Chair be Stephen?
He is.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do we want Stephen to comment either now or in a few minutes?
Ask if there's any discussion.
First,
We haven't seconded it.
Yeah, sorry, you moved. Yes.
I'll
Is there a
second it.
Okay,
Good.
Okay.
any discussion?
there we go.
Nobody on the screen.
Nice to meet you, Stephen. I know you by sight, but now I know who your name is.
Say your name.
Stephen Hepburn, Wallace Farm Road, Chair of the Finance Committee. Not a lot to add to the discussion that you guys have had. Just looking to have conversations to see how we can work with the town management and with the school board just to get some things going. I guess just one clarification on, is the chair me? It is currently, but we are planning a reorganizational meeting for next month. And then it may or may not be me kind of ongoing after that. So, but otherwise not much to add from what you guys have discussed.
But you'll be on the committee.
I plan to be.
Good.
And your second motion isn't that he's the permanent chair.
Come on.
Appointment? Yeah, okay. So it goes with the position, not the person.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Any other? I don't see anything. Let's vote. Mary?
Yes.
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 And I'm a yes. Did you say you had a second?
Yes.
motion?
So the second one would be the school board stuff. And just to get that started, I move to task the Finance Committee Chair to discuss with the Norwich School Board Chair how they could work together collaboratively over the coming year and agree to a framework to be memorialized in a memorandum of understanding between the Norwich School Board and Norwich Selectboard.
That's very good.
So
I think that we did.
I'll second that one.
yeah, sorry, it's long, but we have, painted ourselves into this corner where we have to give them a task.
I don't think it's a painting. I think it's good because we're being very intentional about this. And I second your motion.
Great.
Any discussion?
Second.
Yes, it was me.
Yeah. Let's vote. Mary?
Yes.
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 Yes. 5 yes. Nicely done.
Okay.
All right. We have your work cut out for you. Congratulations. Great. Hand off the chair.
I'm sure they'll be happy to do the work.
We have 13 we've done, 14 planned for committee and subcommittee appointments, 2026.
Well, didn't we sort of discussed that earlier, sort of inadvertently, didn't we? Like the schedule?
And then we agreed to defer it until we got to 14 later in the night.
Okay. So what else is there to discuss? Like we've got a time frame, we've got a process.
Yeah. So when we discussed this last time, I think I was certainly under a different understanding that we were required to advertise this position and wait. And we asked that it be advertised along with the other ones. I don't believe that we agreed that it would be decided at the same time as the others. It was meant to be advertised at the same time. So because we have someone who has submitted an application, because we have someone who is qualified, because apparently we're allowed to do whatever we want, I have to wonder why we aren't appointing a lister. Yes.
So on our agenda, it says plan for committee and subcommittee appointments. So to me, what has been warned tonight is the general plan and framework, which is why, and I think it's nice to be consistent. And we would be really lucky to get an applicant as qualified as Pam and ready to go. But I just think the process part is important.
I don't disagree.
So
for the sake of 7 more days.
Yeah.
When applications close?
Yeah, I don't know. I just think the process is important to keep. So, sorry.
I have a question because I understand that there's a certain amount of urgency here because the way that the listers, the way the state kind of assumes that the listers have already, that the listers that we are going to have or have already been elected. And so they're programming their education programs around that sort of time frame. And on top of that, we've just, as Cheryl mentioned, we're about to receive the update on our new software, and that comes with the training. So the question that I had was, but I do recognize that when we posted these positions, we put a deadline for them to be, applied for by, and if we were to immediately appoint Pam, which I think we have the right to do, if somebody was wanting to be a lister and they might feel like they were misled. So my question was, and I could pose it to the audience, but is it possible for Pam to sit in on the training for the new software, even if she wasn't appointed as the lister until, a later date, and to begin training as a lister without being appointed as a lister? I would almost imagine, I don't know what the answer to those questions are. It seems like you'd be, for the layperson, why would they ever do that? But if she has interest in doing it, and we think that she's going to be appointed at the date that we kind of talked about appointing everybody, then she could do it now and not be behind. Does that make any sense?
It might. I wonder if you can appoint someone subject to a future electoral, so temporary appointment.
Subject to?
No, I don't think so. You're appointing or not.
That's not what I meant. I kind of.
I know it's not what you meant.
Okay.
I'm just wondering if that would be another possibility. Well, there's no statute about this that I have found. And when I asked the VLCT people, they said, no, you do what you want. So here we are.
So what's the training window? I'm unsure as to what's the deadline for training.
Should we call?
Yes, could we call
Pam to talk about it, or Cheryl?
Cheryl? Yes, please. And maybe explain to us.
So
no one has to hurry.
Cheryl Lindbergh, lister, because we are at the point where we're going to finally have access, the training is next. And I did see an email because I pressed them to get this going so that we get trained as soon as possible. I've now got the name of the person in an email that will contact the listers about setting up training on AP5. As I mentioned, we cannot work on anything until AP5 is available. That is the case. We've left the old behind. We're moving into the new portal and cloud version of the software. So we're working towards April 1st. It's a tight time frame. And I can only impress upon you the important.
I think we have to bear in mind too that although we haven't fully closed the advertised period, the 7 more days, the position was advertised for public election, correct?
It was.
And
There were 40
public-
write-in votes, I think, for that position.
but nobody petitioned for it. Nobody won a majority.
The write-in campaign.
So it kind of was in the public domain in a sense, wasn't it?
No. I personally think if we want to play favorites, then we could say, yes, let's go ahead and do it. Because, why should we care about whether or not it's ethical or whatever? I think Pam is fully qualified.
She's overqualified. It's clear cut. But we're not arguing for that. We're arguing how objective has the job been advertised, and has other individuals been offered the opportunity to put their hat into the ring.
We've given them a deadline. That deadline has not arrived yet. Is anybody else going to do it? Do we know? How do we know? If you want to play a favor, if you want to say, let's skip over what that advertisement for positions, because we don't think anybody else is going to be qualified, then fine. But it's a decision that is.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the election, right? When
the election's
over.
Yeah,
somebody withdrew from the election.
But it was open to the public, right?
It was open to the public.
That's the point.
But nobody stated an interest to do it.
How many applicants have we had?
For what?
For that
For the
position.
lister?
Right now, I think we have one applicant, clearly Pam, who sent in her information the day after the organizational meeting. I'm aware that we have one other person that has assumed interest. So they haven't, I don't think it's more than applied, but they were asking about the job and the application process. So I think we will potentially have a second applicant. I've heard repeatedly in my 3 years tenure how interested the town and the listers are in bringing new people in to be considered for the lister position. I've heard Pam Smith say that on a number of occasions as well. So to me, this is very strange that suddenly we aren't going to have an ability for another person or people to apply for an open position to be appointed by the select board for the sake of 2 weeks, like for the sake of letting this process go forward and the application deadline close and the board appoint somebody as well as all of these other positions on March 25th. I mean, this is kind of bizarre to me that we're even talking about it.
Well, I do remember that.
Well, we've got 7 more days, so that's only one position. What are the other positions that are on the docket here?
They're in the packet.
They're in the packet.
How many are we talking about?
We have Board of Listers 1, Conservation Commission 3 seats, Emerald Ash Borer 3 seats, Energy Committee 2 seats, Greater Upper Valley 1. I mean, I could read the whole thing.
2 appointments, right?
Right. Yeah.
2 elected.
2 elected.
And the one thing I will say is I was under the impression that positions as a lister was required to be advertised. And it's very clear it's not. There are no requirements.
That was a motion
that's weird.
by Rob at the request, I think, of is it Pam to have this advertised. Like,
yeah, because we all thought
realized we had 2 public elected positions that had not had a candidate. So we were going to place them along with all of these other appointed positions on the boards and committees. And they were all going to come forward with a deadline to apply. Everybody would have a fair shake at getting their name in for consideration. And then on the 25th, I think that's what I assumed we were going to talk about tonight is how can the board efficiently get through 15 applicants, in a expedient way.
When we get the results.
For all the positions.
So it may be that the question is there a way to allow Pam Smith to get the training?
Right. Here's the question. Can the Board of Listers hire somebody for doing work within the department?
Yes. My answer would be yes.
Can you hire Pam for 2 weeks so that she can get the training clearly with no limitations, no fudging of whether or not that's allowed or not. She would be an employee and could get the training, whatever training is necessary, and perform work, whatever is necessary.
Like as a contractor or as a full-time?
As an employee, whether temporary or
probably a contractor if it's short-term, right?
Contractor.
Advise you to appoint them.
It's not a bad idea.
It's okay for me to respond.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, you're up there.
So I'd like to just go back a step and go over what Chemo has shared. That he spoke to VLCT, is my understanding. They gave you no guidance to require advertising an elected position. That the select board statute for a vacancy is to appoint forthwith. That is the statutory guidance for an open position, for an elected open position.
It was unfilled.
It does not, statutes don't require you to advertise.
They don't define forthwith.
Well, I think the meaning is fairly quickly, is what, just like a vacancy on the select board,
2 weeks.
forthwith.
Yeah, 2 weeks. 3 weeks.
With that,
3 days.
with a normal, ordinary situation, I could agree.
Yep.
With the situation we're in right now, I have a much different view on that. So that's my point. Secondly, I think statutorily, you have the guidance and the support that was given to you from VLCT. But recently, on January 14th, the select board appointed a recreation council member for a position that was not advertised. The person was not present. So to the point of following your policy, it isn't followed consistently. And I think that for boards, for committees, that's very important, in my opinion. If I was you, I would want to meet the person. I would want to interview them, look at the application, and vet everybody. But I think that you're inconsistent in the application of certain persons were not on the board at the time, excusing those, but could have happened back when you were. That I just think if you're going to be adhering to a procedure or a policy, whatever you wish to call it, that it's consistently then applied. And that's what's being stated tonight, but yet it didn't happen. And it's in the minutes to that effect. So I just wish to point out all the perfect storm going on right now that would eliminate your suggestion to hire somebody is not simple. It takes steps. I don't know if I could do that without advertising. So I worry about that idea. I feel comfortable with Pam being in there, but I feel that we're learning a new program that she's going to be working with as a lister, and that when you're in that office, you should be paid to be in that office or not, otherwise don't show up until you're a lister. So I'm concerned.
But you could pay her.
I don't see how
Is
it could be done. Why? Why would we do that when it's so easy tonight to appoint her and be done with it and understand that you've made the best decision with the constraints you have, the statutes support you, the LCT supports you, and that it doesn't require my effort to do a lot of stuff that's going to take me away from the work that needs to be done.
Mary.
It's not on the agenda specifically, though.
I think it was.
Right. It's not specifically warned. This is a general plan. So we might have been remiss, in that, but it's just not on the agenda.
Well, in the correspondence, there's a cover letter, and it somehow got left out of the agenda. Correct?
Well, I'm looking at our agenda right here. I'm not seeing this.
Yeah.
Well, I think my stumbling point is that we advertised this position.
We went ahead and
So whether we
advertised.
should have. We advertised this position. We said that all applications are due at a specific point that we have not met, that we have not gotten to yet. And so if someone were to apply and we receive their application tomorrow, and then we just turn around and say, sorry, we've already filled this position, that would be unfair.
So what VLCT says is there is no process for finding someone to appoint to a vacancy laid out in the statute. But they also say only the notice must be posted. And that can go up even after someone is appointed to notify voters so they can petition for election if they choose. So if somebody does apply and they would like to have an election, they can ask for one, even after you've appointed someone.
Really?
I think that's weird. Technical. Yeah, I mean, I
agree.
I think the essence of this is that we said this.
We promised.
Yeah, please apply by then.
That's true. What you've said is true.
Yeah,
Someone can petition for a special town meeting and have an Lister election done.
So
Yes.
so one issue is you pointed out that a youth member of a commission was hired without an advertisement. And because it wasn't a committee, I'm not sure it follows the same rules. That's a funny thing. But I don't think it makes sense for us to break tradition again because we made a mistake once. So we make what people might perceive as being another mistake, and somehow that make it all okay. So what we're trying to do is stay within the rules we've set up, but find a way to get the training done in advance of the time when we can actually appropriately.
Well, may I respond to that, Mr. Chair?
Yes, and then town manager has his hand up. Could I?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 10:15 and we're all tired and we've had long days, I'm sure. So here is my thought. The optics around this are crazy bad right now. Okay, there is a message from Cheryl Lindbergh Saturday, March 7th that appeared in the listserv, titled Listers Vacancy, please apply. The Norwich Board of Listers are letting the public know that there is a vacancy for a lister position. Anyone interested in applying for the lister position should complete the application on the town website and submit it to the Norwich Selectboard as soon as possible. The Select Board will make an appointment until the next special or regular town meeting. So that was 4 days ago, folks. Okay, we have someone who has expressed an interest in applying to be a lister, which we've all, I think, agreed would be wonderful to have more people stepping up to try to take on positions. And the optics that they would see if they are watching this meeting are just horrible. I'm sorry to say that. We should just be fair and impartial, wait till this process plays out, and in 2 weeks appoint a lister, whether that's Pam Smith or someone else who might still choose to apply. I think there's really no other question in my mind. This has gotten very strange.
Is that a tenable solution in terms of training and software implementation?
So what I would say is, you'll make your decision as a board as what you want to do. And I understand Mary's point, but I also understand that Chemo did some good research. What I can say is delays do not help meeting the statutory deadlines of getting the grand list filed and lodged.
June 4th.
Right. So there's work to be done. There's probably 90 permits to be reviewed and updated with assessment work. There's current use, 100 and some odd. There are homestead declarations already available, but I can't do any because I can't get my CAMA software into Vermont Pi so that I can bring those homesteads in. So this Assess Pro is very important. I can do as much as I can. I'm typically the one in there. I can only say honestly to you that the longer this is delayed, and maybe you could hold a special meeting in a week whenever the deadline is up for 5 minutes and review all applicants and not wait for the other deadline. but it just could have a ripple effect on meeting statutory deadlines. I have to be honest. I cannot say
Which we'd
anything.
like to avoid if possible.
You would.
Yes.
Yeah.
I understand. And, the other option, as I just said, is get to the deadline and a special meeting, half an hour and you're done. Look at Lister applications.
Those are due in a week.
So I think we can move quickly on that. Once the deadline is approached,
We could reach special meeting and get it done.
Does that sound satisfactory?
I would think that would be a really positive, collaborative option.
That might be a good solution.
Okay.
I can't do it during working hours, so just saying, guys, tired folk.
We'll make it whenever suits you.
Well, just, an evening would be better.
Norwich in.
No, that'd be after.
Okay. So plan for committee and subcommittee appointments is devolving into special meeting next week.
Yes.
Is that correct? I don't think.
After the deadline expires.
Motion.
But is that for that specific purpose though?
Yes.
Right? For the Lister one, because it's time sensitive,
Yes.
not for everybody. I just
Ostensibly
want
to support the Lister appointment as soon as possible.
right, but
Others
not-
as we can reasonably manage.
so we would not be considering the any possible
others.
others. We'd wait until the 25th for those.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe if somebody, what's the other appointed?
Is there another elected one?
Trustee
The other,
Oh, right.
and the Greater Upper Valley Solid Waste.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's make sure.
No, sorry.
The closing date is 7 days hence, right?
yes.
Okay. So we meet 8 days hence.
Yes.
Yeah. Would that be
the closing?
is Thursday?
Closing is at noon, isn't it? Yeah. So we can meet that evening.
Yep.
On all the results.
Even better. Let's do it.
16th.
And, Mary herself flagged the complex range of properties in the town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the thing is weird. I mean, the idea there's no statute.
I think we have to empower the Listers Department as much as we can here. We're not
very important.
encroaching any statute. We're not being unreasonable, I don't think. I think we need to sort of the clock is ticking
Okay.
mindset, I think, here.
Is this acceptable to everyone?
Yeah, let's try
Stays
it.
within,
Yep.
good.
Okay.
Good.
Let's keep going. It's getting late here.
Yes, it is. So,
Isn't there folklore in Vermont that nothing gets done in a meeting after 10 p.m.?
okay, come on now. Approval of minutes. Are there any comments, changes, additions to the minutes?
I had none.
We would like to move.
I move to approve the minutes for February 25, 2026 as presented.
Oh, second.
Comments, discussion, vote. Mary?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes, 5 yes. AP warrants. We have
Three.
three, yes. I don't have any questions about them. Does anyone else need?
I'm good.
I'm good. Anyone like any discussion? No. Shall we move?
I move to approve AP warrant number 1461 in the amount of $94,788.02 to be paid from the general fund. AP warrant number 1462 in the amount of $2,808.22 to be paid from the police cruiser fund. AP warrant number 1463 in the amount of $9,500 from the town reappraisal fund, and AP warrant number 1464 in the amount of $700.50 from the citizen assistance fund. So that's really 4 of them, right?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, yes.
I only see 3 in the packet. Am I missing something?
No, there's the big one.
There's
It's there are 4. The big one is the last one.
Oh, it's following. It's the last one down.
Exactly. And so they're numbered non-sequential.
Oh, okay, right. Sorry. Okay.
Would anyone like to?
Thanks, Matt.
Second.
You got something?
Who got
I'll
that
second
one?
that.
Right. Discussion, vote, Mary?
Yes.
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 5 yes, all right. Receipt of correspondence, a lot of correspondence, much of it to do with energy and speeding. These are things I think would be obvious to cover in a working group, possibly.
Act 36.
Act 36. Yeah, vehicle speed.
Question about lister qualifications, which I think was pretty much answered in the,
yes,
you know.
Anyway, good selection. Any questions about the comments? I think we were
in the past. I know we're really kind of fried, but we've kind of made a note at the meeting of the actual people and a short, description of what it was.
Right.
But I think tonight, I don't know if it's worth it to go
I didn't
through.
have time to do that, but I will do that in the future.
Yeah.
Like people who commented on, say, Act 36, for example.
Yes.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah.
I knew they came from, and
it's just an extra acknowledgement of it.
We did have quite a few comments.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did.
And I think that we've already acknowledged that Act 36 is sort of a topic ripe for its own agenda item.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there should be, a circle back to the speeding topic at some point as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Pam did mention that her application for some reason was left off.
Are we good?
We're good.
Yep. I move to receive all correspondence.
A second.
Discussion. No, let's vote. Mary?
Yes.
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 5 yes. All right. One last act.
I move to adjourn the meeting.
And don't forget, we have to sign all our warrants.
Mm-hmm.
I will second the motion. Just have to vote on it.
It's adjourned at 10:24.
We didn't vote yet, did we? Have to vote.
Oh, sorry. Let's vote, Mary.
Yes.
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 And I'm a yes.
Okay.
Now